for bicyclists, pedestrian laws. Let's go ahead and talk about this. This is endorsed by the American Driver and Traffic Safety Association. So whenever you read something and there's a professional organization behind it, it's extremely important. And I think you should listen to this material. I think it should help you elevate to become a good driver. Why is this curriculum necessary? According to the 2019 Dangerous Design Report, the number of pedestrians struck and killed by motor vehicles in the United States increased by 35%. Okay, so it's really important that you understand what's doing, why is that happening, and you want to continue to do your best. That's extremely important that you understand that. Safety is no accident. From 2008 to 2017, nearly 50,000 pedestrians died as a result of these collisions. So a collision is where someone is hit and struck and killed, okay? According to the traffic crash report, more than 19,000 bicyclists were involved in motor vehicle collisions during the same period. These type of crashes are far greater chance of death from a bicyclist than motorists because you are vulnerable road users. A little kid on a bike is a vulnerable road user. Someone riding a bike is a vulnerable road user. The elderly are vulnerable road users. And if all of you live long enough, you'll be vulnerable road users too. So I need you to remember vulnerable road users. These are pedestrians, bicyclists, and individuals with disabilities, making up a disproportionately large percentage of fatalities. In 2018, legislative approved a bill requiring all motorists education courses to dedicate a minimum of 1 hour of instruction. So I'm dedicating some time for you to help you become a safe driver. Since motorist education is the first experience behind the wheel, and I'm talking to young people who have experience. I'm sorry, let me go ahead and start over. It was muted. So we are talking about vulnerable road users. Why is this curriculum necessary? According to the 2019 Dangerous Design Report, the number of pedestrians struck and killed by motor vehicles in the United States increased by 35%. That's over 10 years. So from 2008 to 2017, nearly 50,000 pedestrians died as a result of these accidents. According to the traffic crash report, alone more than 19,000 bicyclists involved in motor vehicle collisions during the same time period. These crashes occurred far greater chances of death. So the chances of you dying in these type of crashes are greater because you don't have protection. A car weighing 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 pounds will hit you, and many of you won't even wear helmets. So the odds are against you. So you are vulnerable road users. Who are vulnerable road users? Pedestrians are vulnerable road users. Bicyclists are vulnerable road users. Individuals with disabilities. I strongly urge you to take some notes on this information. I'm only going to go through this one time. And if I save one life, I've done my job. So I'm going to continue. In 2018, legislative approved a bill requiring all motorist education courses to dedicate a minimum of 1 hour. Well, I'm giving you your 1 hour. That could save your life. Or if you see someone on a bike, you'll change a lane. Since motorist education is the first experience behind the wheel for new motorists, all of you are new motorists. All of you are new motorists. So this is your first experience. What do you do when a bike is in your lane? What do you do when a bicycle runs the light? What do you do when they have their arm out? So you're going to become more educated on this. And then when I'm in a car with individuals who know nothing about driving, I can support you so you don't kill someone. What are vulnerable road users? VRU, okay, are roadway users with less protection than motorists. Okay, they run a greater risk of a crash. They include bicyclists, pedestrians, children, elderly, individuals with disabilities are considered especially vulnerable groups of people since they have physical or cognitive limitations compared to the average road user. Motorists have a responsibility to safeguard their lives and others. So your responsibility when you get in the car is to make sure you and your passengers are safe. That's your first responsibility. And if you don't act like that, then the chances are you're not going to really take your driving experience very seriously. I think it's really important that I continue as a professional in this industry is to give you the most current information and to help you bridge that gap between you learning how to drive. It takes 10 years to learn how to drive. Motorists have a responsibility to safeguard their lives when getting behind the wheel. It is critically important for drivers to allow extra time and space. We know a lot of beginning drivers tailgate. You have a difficult time keeping speed and good space. So I always urge you, keep room, keep space, have good speed, have good space, and a smile. I'm not asking you to write everything down. Just jot a couple things down. Become an expert. A driver's actions can end or prematurely change the lives of other road users, especially vulnerable road users. VRU. You see some pictures. You see a person riding a bike. He has a helmet. You see a pedestrian walking down the street. You see someone in a wheelchair. This is very common today. 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you barely saw these type of things. So people who have enough strength and get physical therapy, you'll see them. Laws for bicyclists. Where bicyclists must ride. Bicyclists often share the road with motor vehicles. Sometimes motor vehicles have mistaken their belief that bicycles are not allowed on the road. That's not true. There are vehicle codes in our state that allow bicyclists to ride on the road. Okay, I'm just summarizing this. In most cases, riding the road is safer than the sidewalk. So all of you have been on a bike. If you ride your bike on the sidewalk, you're going to run into people who are coming out of a store, walking around. So it's safer to ride on the street. If you're riding in a bicycle, you should be riding with the flow of the traffic. If you're walking and there's no sidewalk, you should be walking against the flow of the traffic. So if you see people walking with the flow of the traffic, they're probably going to get ran over. So I need you to understand that it is for your safety. On the road, bicyclists are generally required to follow the same rules. If there's a red light, they should slow down. If there's a green light, they should look left and right. But you see bicyclists just blowing through lights. They're going to get hit, and then they're going to lose the argument in court. They ran the light. Case closed. It is illegal for cyclists to ride against the flow of the traffic. I'll say it again. It is illegal for bicyclists to ride against the flow of the traffic, but some bicyclists may not be aware of this. There is no law prohibiting riding against the flow of the traffic. When doing so, a motorist, it is imperative to be alert. You need to be alert. I'm sorry, young drivers. You got to stay alert. We see hand signals. If you put your hand down to the side, that means slow down. Up to the right, that means you're making a right turn. Or at a 90 degree, that means you're making a right turn. Or they stick it out to the left. You need to know those hand signals. Next, our state requires cyclists to be equipped with a forward-facing white light and a rear-facing red reflector. Some bicyclists have that, some don't. It is highly recommended. When should bicyclists stay alert? Another common hill misconception is that bicyclists are required to stay as far from the right as possible. The reality is this is more complicated. A person operating a bike upon a highway or street at less than existing speed of traffic, meaning you can't drive 40, you can't drive 50, you can't drive 60, you might be pedaling at 10 miles an hour, okay? And shall ride as close as predictable to the right-hand curb or edge of the roadway, except for the following: overtaking another bike, making a left turn, when the conditions of the edge of the road are unsafe to do so, draining openings, debris on the road, pedestrians, animals, other obstacles. Avoid surface hazards, door zones. This is on your test. It's called dooring a bike rider. I'll talk about this right now. Additionally, bicyclists are required to use proper lanes. This means bicyclists who plan to make a left turn should maneuver into the left lane prior to making their turns. You're not on the right side of the street and you're going to make a left across 2 lanes of traffic, you're going to get hit and killed. So if you're a bicyclist, you need to be getting into that left turn lane early, just like cars. And they're going to look at you like, what are you doing here? You have a right to the lane. This means that bicyclists who plan to turn left should maneuver into the left lane prior to the turn. Laws for bicyclists, laws for driving safely around bikes, safe habits for sharing the road. We're trying to teach all of you safe habits. Bree, Mason, Vito, Owen, Rita, Christine, Henry, William, Hayden, Chase, Malachi, Mary. Hey, William, pay attention. It's really important. This is for you guys. You need to make eye contact. A lot of you as beginner drivers, you're scared to look around. A lot of you on your third and fourth drive, you're scared to look to the right. You're scared to look to the left. Make eye contact with bicyclists, pedestrians, and drivers. Make your eye contact. Don't be scared to do that. Do not follow too close behind a bicyclist, especially with roads that have poor surface. If a bicyclist falls or swerves, you should have time to slow down and stop. Try to make eye contact bicyclists at intersections. This will let them know you are aware of them, and they'll be less hesitant. Bicyclist lights are smaller than those of large vehicles. Sometimes they can blend in to more powerful lights, so be extra careful. Let's look at this. Above all, remember, speed kills. If a car is traveling 20, it has a 5%. If a car is traveling 20 miles per hour, it has a 5% chance of dying as well as an impact. At 40, the probability skyrockets to 85%. What does this mean? The faster you drive, the more likely you're going to kill someone on a bike. Let's look at this example. Hit a vehicle at 20 miles an hour, 9 out of 10 pedestrians will survive. Being hit by a vehicle traveling 30, 5 out of 10 will survive. Hit a vehicle at 40, 1 in 10 pedestrians has the chance to survive. So around 35 to 40, that's when a life will be taken. And if you're on drugs, if you are caught with something, you will go to jail for manslaughter. For many motorists, passing bicyclists on the road can be a very nervous experience, especially in heavy traffic. Remember 3 simple things: wait, pass, and check. I'll say it again. Wait, pass, and check. Wait for opposing traffic to clear. Do not try to squeeze past a bicyclist. You see a lot of cars doing this. Drive behind a bicyclist. Next, if you are able to get the bicyclist to required space, pass slowly and safely. As the 2018 law requires motorists to give bicyclists at least 3 feet of space. Usually the mirror side is the widest part of the car. And wait. If you're in doubt, wait. This is a squeeze play. A car is trying to squeeze past a bicyclist, forcing them on the curb, forcing them on the side of the road. Note, many local ordinances require 5 feet. Check. Let's look at this example. This is called a right hook. This is an intersection. Many of you don't look left, right, left. Let's pretend Mary's riding the bike. Let's pretend William is riding the bike. Let's pretend Malachi is riding the bike. You're going straight. The driver in the car doesn't even see you because they're not looking. They run you over. This is called the right hook. Cyclists on sidewalks may be obscured by trees, bushes, parked cars. Additionally, do not underestimate the speed of a bicycle. Maybe you're traveling at 25. They're like, wow, that person's moving fast. There are different zones that are dedicated for bikes. Okay, so you got to know about these transition zones. They have bicyclists, images on the ground. You can't drive on those. This is another zone. Okay, a bike flow lane. Let's talk about the left cross. This is where you're going to kill someone going left. You see the image, you're making a left turn. A left cross is when the motorist fails to yield a right of way and turns into or in front of a bicyclist. The left cross. How to avoid the left cross? When turning left, motorists must yield. When we make left turns, beginning drivers, we yield to traffic. It's okay to go? No, you got to wait. It's okay to go? No, cars are still coming. It's okay to go? Is it clear? Yes, you can go. Yield to oncoming traffic. Swipe, side swipe. When motorists misjudge passing clearance when trying to squeeze behind a bicyclist. The easiest way to ensure adequate clearance from a bicyclist is to simply change lanes. A drive out. This is when a motorist pulls out from a side street and you do not have the right of way. The main road has the right of way. You have to yield to oncoming traffic, pedestrians, cars, trucks, and bicyclists, but you don't, and you hit someone. When waiting for traffic to clear so you can pull out onto the road, yield the right of way to bicyclists just as they were another vehicle. Don't underestimate the speed. They travel faster than you think. Always stop behind the stop bar. We teach you this, but you guys don't listen. You go past the stop bar, past the crosswalk, the front of the car's in the intersection. I look at you, you look at me. I know you're going to fail your test because I teach you to stop behind the stop bar or stop line, but you don't do that. I don't know what that is. That means you're not paying attention right now. Tell me 2 things you learned. Type them into the chat. I'm halfway done with this. Tell me 2 things you learned. I'm looking for specific things. Please don't put anything random in there. Tell me 2 things you learned. Remember, our legislation in our state requires at least a minimum of 1 hour. Well, I'm going to do a minimum. Tell me 2 things you learned. Type it in specifically from what I went over. And I know this because this was my professional development 2 years ago. And I saved it. So show me you're really paying attention. Show the driving school. Show your parents. We have other adults in here. Little do you know. You're here for a makeup, okay? My class is a makeup. But if you don't follow the rules, you'll be removed. Type in real things. I'm going to keep moving. Dooring. It's on the test. Thank you. Dooring is the type of crash when a motorist opens the door of a parked car directly in front of the path of a bicyclist riding in the lane. This can be a deadly crash. Typically, the biker's handlebars hits the door, turning the front wheel to the right, sending the bicyclist flying over to the left into traffic. This happened last summer. One of my students, his mother was an avid bicyclist. She had a carbon fiber bike. She was a racer training for a triathlon. The next day, her chin was scratched. She broke her collarbone. Her front teeth got knocked out. She had a black eye. I said, oh my God, what happened? Oh, I was riding my bike and this motorist opened the door and I flipped over. I said, oh my God, are you okay? I'm okay. I won't be riding for a while. So you have to do something called the Dutch reach. If you don't believe me, it's in the literature. Thank you, driving school. So make sure you understand this, but many of you won't care. You won't look over your shoulder. You're just going to open the door. A motorcyclist narrowly avoiding being doored. Parked motorists should never open the door without first checking. Some bike lanes are placed immediately to the left of the curb, the area known as the door zone. Hey, there's the Dutch reach. Highly effective method for checking traffic. We're not in Sweden, okay? We're not Dutch. We don't have our wooden clogs on. Practice. The Dutch reach is when opening a door. While it's common to open the door with the left hand, a motorist practicing the Dutch reach will instead reach to the right. This will turn your body, turn your torso. The movement requires you to do this, causing the motorist's torso to swivel towards the roadway, thereby putting them in a natural or neutral position to check front and rear. Some of you will do this, some of you won't. This is an example. Distraction was a factor in 3,166 fatal crashes on American roadways in 2017, according to that comprised 9% of all fatal crashes that year, according to the National Highway Safety Administration. Notes that when a door When a driver reads or sends a text message, their eyes are off the road for a minimum of 5 seconds, but all of you are going to text because your group texting more than anyone else. If we looked at your call logs, you send more texts and pictures than any other group in your family. I'm going to take a picture of the cat, of the dog, the guy with the crispy haircut, the little person walking, the big person walking, the sky. You're just taking random pictures. Meaning that a person traveling 55 would travel a football field without looking at the road, according to data gathered by the University of Michigan. Go Wolverines! Transportation Research Institute. According to 12,788 distracted drivers in 2016, 43 were killed in a crash. 5,103 were injured. In 2017, those numbers clearly increased. So we have more distracted driving today. 20,115 distracted driving crashes, 72 people were killed. Improving the safety of bicyclists and motorized vehicles. We have bike lanes. More and more communities have bike lanes because they want to beautify. They want to open up areas, downtown Detroit, downtown Houston, Texas, downtown Los Angeles, California. You see all these bike lanes. You see people out eating and enjoying everything. Guidance arrows within the lane indicate the direction. You may be traveling one way. You may see an arrow going another way with a black or white line. That is for bikes. A buffered zone without a physical barrier. Is this going to be in the test? You might have one or two questions. Oh, 2025, the whole game is going to change because there are more people riding bikes. Some lanes are buffers to provide a larger degree of protection. They have these in downtown areas. This is a typical shallow. You have a bicyclist painted on the ground with two lines, shallows. This is another bike-related sign gate. Bike lane. Bike lane ends. Share the road. Warning sign. Bike may use full lane. Your bike's 5 feet. There's a lot of signage also too. Pedestrians are vulnerable road users. Schools, I love this because all of you are in school, but you don't look both ways. And Mary, you didn't do your homework. Malachi, you didn't do your homework. William, you didn't do your homework. Shaquavia, you didn't do your homework. There's a quiz tomorrow. You're going to have a quiz today. Schools may have school zones designated for nearby roads, which include slower than normal speeds where children are traveling to and from school. Drivers are made aware of these zones by posted signage along the flashing light during these times. Drivers should always drive slower than usual speeds limit in these areas, especially when children are present. And be prepared to stop quickly. Drivers must also obey school crossing guards. Could be on the test. That may require direct traffic to stop or yield. Pedestrian crossing guidelines. Pedestrians have a responsibility too, to cross at the intersection. Marked crossroads, corners. Every intersection is deemed a crosswalk. There is marked, whether it's marked or not. I'll say it again. Every intersection is deemed a crosswalk. At times, there are crosswalks at mid-block, designated with motorist warning signs, pavement markings. Laws governing pedestrians crossing. A special crossing signal for pedestrians indicating walk or don't walk. In the absence of the above special crossing signs, a green light pedestrians facing signal may proceed across the road with a marked or unmarked crosswalk. A steady yellow arrow, pedestrians are advised there is not enough time, but you're not going to listen. You're going to keep walking. My day was balling. How are you? I got my crispy haircut. That boy looking good. I hope you enjoy this. Enjoy. For a steady red light arrow, pedestrians are forbidden for entering the intersection. But you guys won't listen. Laws for driving around pedestrians. There are no state laws in our location around unsigned crosswalks, except for the law which requires them to stop at any crosswalk. State law governs motors' behavior at signalized traffic intersections. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for teaching your son how to read. A steady red signal, motorists must stop at the near side of the intersection or the stop bar. We keep hearing stop bar, stop bar, stop bar, stop bar, but you're not listening. You're going to stop in the crosswalk. You think you can turn on red, but you don't look. That's the biggest thing that beginning drivers do. You think, can I turn on red? And you fail your road test because there's a sign. You didn't look to the left. You almost get hit. The instructor's got to grab the wheel and you get hit. And your mom or dad cries, no! Because you don't look. Beginning drivers don't look. Type in what you just learned. Show me you're paying attention. This is very intense. I'm really trying to teach, right? We're trying to get people ready. I'm almost done with this. You should be tapping in what you learned. Make sure I still see my beautiful, attractive self. Yeah, I'm still beautiful. I'm still attractive. You have to love yourself first before you can love others. If you think you're ugly, then the world thinks you're ugly. If you think you're beautiful, the world will think you're beautiful. Love yourself first. Put in real information. I don't know, William. You know when you got here? I'm just going over my lesson. You know when you got here? You know when we started? Okay, let's talk about habits, safe driving habits at crosswalks. One thing drivers must never do is pass another vehicle that is stopped at the crosswalk, especially in a multi-lane road. The likelihood is great that you're going to kill someone. Yielding to pedestrians as traffic changes when making turns is another critical guidepost to ensure their safety. Even a green light or green arrow should be taken as permission to go without ensuring your path is clear. Just because you have a green light doesn't mean go. Of course, stay on as long as you can. And then I have to stay on tonight and we'll talk. Stay on as long as you want now. And then we'll talk. Next, yielding to pedestrians as traffic lights change, particularly in downtown Detroit, downtown Houston, Texas, downtown Los Angeles, California. It doesn't matter, any downtown area. The holiday season is quickly approaching. Black Friday's coming up. Thanksgiving is coming up. People are shopping, spending money. And if you're not a good boy or girl, you won't get anything. Mama, am I getting anything? No. You failed driver's ed, you're in a makeup class, and you don't want to do your homework. You're not getting anything. You don't deserve anything. And some of you are sleeping in the makeup class right now, pretending you're listening as we look at your faces. Thank you, college professors, for teaching me nonverbal behavior. I'm looking right at you. Some of you are like listening. Some of you are playing a video game. So we got to yield to pedestrians. A left turn or U-turn at a green light should be made after visually checking for pedestrians. You got to look. You got to really look. Is it clear in front? Okay. Am I clear to the left? Am I clear to the right? Okay, I'm clear. Okay, I can make my turn. But many of you won't look to that level. Ensuring your path is clear. Be especially careful as well when making right turns at red lights. That's the thing that fails most beginning drivers. My driving instructor failed me. No, you failed yourself because you didn't look to the left. You didn't look to the right. Am I good to go? Did you look at the sign? Oh, I can't go. Pedestrians may be approaching from your right side, usually from the sidewalk path. Common crashes involving pedestrians. Many of the actions described earlier may cause common crashes with bicyclists, also seen as crashes involving pedestrians. The right hook, the left cross. and drive out. All of you type in what is the right hook, left cross, drive out. Tell me one of the three. Type it in. What is the left hook? What is the right cross? What is the drive out? You should be able to tell me this. Show me you're paying attention. Show me you're paying attention. Can you say it again, bro? Can I record your voice? You going too fast. You talk too fast. The thing you need to remember, I'm a patriot. And that's what a lot of you seem to forget. And many of you on here aren't patriots either, because you send some random stuff and you think you won't get called out. You will get called out, and you will be challenged and checked. It's about loving your country. I don't care who's in power. Remember that. I fought for this country too, and that's what you don't know. So many of you are saying random stuff, thinking you're behind a screen or a phone. Your IP will be followed. Let's continue. When motorists, it is a motorist inattentiveness that causes crashes. You're not looking left. You're not looking right. You're just looking straight ahead. You pull out in front of a car. And new drivers, you do a lot of light traffic light driving. You don't go from your home to a downtown area. You don't go from your home to an hour away. You don't go from your home to another community. You drive 15 minutes to school, back home. From school to grandma's house. Maybe your parents might let you go up to the mall. So you do a lot of light traffic light driving. Next, you got to watch others. You got to watch your mom. You got to watch your dad. But you don't. You're on your phone. You have to learn to yield. Beginning drivers mix up yield and right of way. That's one thing I can say. You panic. What do I do? What do I do? You yield. I don't have a sign. What do I do? The biggest confusion is at intersections. Use the Big Five strategy. 1, no phones. 2, look while turning. If you're making a left, I should see you looking to the left. If you're making a right, I should see you looking to the right. You won't do it. Why do you keep saying that? Because you don't do it. You got to look. When you're changing lanes, mirror, turn signal, blind spot. Mirror, turn signal, blind spot. You've got to check your blind spots. You have to, but I have a big mirror. Mirror, turn signal, blind spot. My dad told me I have a big mirror. I don't have to look. I'm not teaching your dad. I'm not teaching your mom. I'm teaching you. Okay? Next, drive at a safe speed. Beginning drivers either drive too slow or too fast. What's up, King? Beginning drivers drive too slow or too fast. A large majority of you drive 12 under the limit, 8 under the limit. This causes us 2 dangers. You're either going to have to run the traffic light, which is going to get us killed, and I'm going to hit that brake on you and talk and call your parent and call the company, or you're going to have to slam brakes, which is going to get us rear-ended. So beginning drivers drive very slow. A few of you drive fast, maybe 1 in 25, but most of you drive under speed, which makes other drivers very angry because you're holding up the flow of the traffic. They want to get around you. They see that you're a student driver. Got to keep it funny. Got to keep it copacetic. They see that you're a stunt driver. They're like, oh, that's the student driver. I'll give them grace. But no, people cut us off. They put up the middle finger. They tailgate us. Go on to those beautiful, I'll give the student driver a car length. No, they're going to run us off the road. Everyone's in a hurry. Your dog is driving. She's in a hurry. Your cat's driving. He's in a hurry. Your grandmother's driving. She's in a hurry. People are very inconsiderate today. Does that mean you become like that? Of course not. Okay? It's really important. Next, I need you have a lot of room. A lot of beginners pull out in front of cars. Don't scare your parents. What do you mean? You just pull out in front of the car. Your mom's like, oh my God. Your dad's like, You need to look more. If you do that, your parents won't drive you. Bro, you got your hours? Nah, man. How many hours of driving you got? 10. Bro, I got 30. I'm taking segment 2 next week. I gotta go, bro. Because you scared your parents. Because they don't want to drive with you. Don't scare the parents. New drivers don't judge distance and speed very well. They need a lot of verbal interaction. My mom and dad don't talk to me. I wonder why. You need to be told what to do. Okay, I need you to get over to the left lane. Check your blind spot. Great lane change. Okay, I need you to cover the brake and slow down. Good job, Mary. Mary, when it's clear, go up to the middle lane. Look, check. If it's clear, make sure it is clear. Yes. Show me hand over hand. Beautiful turn, Mary. That's what it takes. But you have an attitude when someone tells you, stop telling me what to do. Uh-oh, I'm calling your mom right now. I'm calling the driving company right now. Driving is a privilege, not a right. I'll say it again. I see someone having a lot of fun up there. They're not really listening. Driving is a privilege, not a right. That can be taken away. Pedestrian crossing in an unsafe location. Pedestrians crossing an unsafe location. The most common crash happens, however, when pedestrians cross the road where places they should not be. Downtown Detroit, downtown Houston, Texas, downtown Los Angeles, California, downtown Mississippi, downtown Florida. How to avoid pedestrians crossing the road. Be alert. Both sides of the road for pedestrians, especially children, who suddenly dash out from the curb. Oh my God, there's a dolphin. And they run out in front of you. You're like, bruh. You go down to Florida, you're going to see a lot of people and dolphins and sharks and other things. Be aware of your surroundings, especially residential areas where we drive, school zones where we drive. Sometimes we go to shopping centers, not to shop, but to go around the outer ring. There's stop signs, yield signs. Traffic is 20 miles an hour, but people are speeding. They don't stop. Where you are, we're most likely to encounter pedestrians. They have unpredictable behavior, be especially cautious at night. Backing into spots. Parking lots are particularly hazardous for pedestrians. I'm talking to young people who will be driving to school one day. Yeah, I want to drive to school, but you can't park. I got a backup camera. You can't park. The lines are too small. I got a big truck. No, you can't park. How to avoid backing into a pedestrian. As a driver, walk behind your parked car before you ensure the path is clear. Then before backing up, look behind you. Look left, look right. Hitting a pedestrian crossing from or at a school bus. Distracted drivers may easily miss children. I know, Mr. Russell. Hang in there. Could save your life one day. How to avoid hitting pedestrians from to a school bus. It is illegal to pass a bus with red lights flashing. Oh, that's going to be on your test. Wow. With the stop arm extended. Commercial buses also pose the same situation. Hitting a pedestrian at a multi-lane crossing. How to avoid hitting pedestrian at a multi-lane crossing. A driver must slow down. Hitting or avoiding a pedestrian crossing with the walk signal. Yield to all pedestrians in the crosswalk. The probability of fatally injuring a pedestrian by speed. The faster you go, the more likely you are to kill someone. Right around 35 or 40, that's when someone is going to die. Our youth and elderly populations are very vulnerable. We said that at the beginning. According to Safe Kids Worldwide, approximately half of all pedestrian deaths in the past 15 years have been children. One contributing factor is that children under 10 usually have a difficult time judging speed. Hey, some of you are 14.9. I'm not a child. I'm 14.9. Some of you are 15. I'm not a child. I'm 15. Some of you say, I'm not a child. I'm 16. Well, you act like a child. You goof around in school. You think it's fight night. You don't do your homework. You don't pay attention. No wonder your parents don't want to drive you. Factors pertaining to this may be that elderly people need more time to cross the road. Injuries that happen to this group tend to be more severe. Also, a large proportion of them may be wheelchair users. Another precaution with wheelchair users is that electric wheelchairs may move faster. You're like, wow, man, that chair moved out real fast. Parts of a traffic engineer's job is to monitor areas within a community to determine where infrastructure and intersection treatment may be needed. Sorry, tax dollars, we don't have money for that. Goat's path. We're not talking about a goat. Bah. I had so much fun with you guys. Mary, Mary. Hey, Malachi. Let's see my family members. See how they doing. Yeah. Owen hanging in there. Nola hanging in there. Rita hanging in there. Right? Bree hanging in there. I'm just trying to get you ready. I'm almost done. Your life is just starting. Let me go back and share again. So goat's path. If you see a goat's path, is that for goats, bro? No. The presence of a goat's path in the crossing indicates it's an often used walking route. Schools or shops in this area might suggest the need for a sidewalk. According to a 2012 report by the Department of Transportation, sharing the road, optimizing pedestrian and bicycle safely, and vehicle mobility. You say that real fast. Okay? Bridges that offer separate crossing paths over roads. Pedestrian medians. A pork chop. Not that you eat. Mary, you like pork chops? Yeah, get that pork chop sandwich. Chop, chop. She's like, yeah, bro. Okay. Built-in bubble outs. Pedestrian traffic signs for drivers. The Hawk system. Go ahead and spend $750,000. Some communities have hawks, some don't. Not the bird of prey. The Hawk system. Okay? The Hawk system is like a traffic beacon, and it has a lot of lights. Road diet. Yield in advance. Reverse angle parking. Those are really safer. Pedestrian stop here. Motorists and bicyclists are all traffic. Type in 2 things you learned. This is very powerful tonight. 2 things you learned. In terms of going over the limit, I would be very careful. Everyone's different. Every state is different. My jurisdiction is different than yours. I need all of you to watch these vehicles. I will talk to you later. I will go live later. Bye.